Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki don inaugurated one sports association for Edo State. The inauguration shele for Government House, Benin City on Friday, 28 April 2023. The people will join body with the governor for this inauguration now. Edo State Deputy Governor, Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shaibu, Chairman Edo State Sports Commission, Yusuf Ali, Permanent Secretary Edo State Sports Commission, Sabina Chikere, and other ogbonge people. During the inauguration, Obaseki Konto said the ceremony dey very important sake of say we dey reconnect to our history as sporty people, and Konto say sport dey important for the world as it dey serve as tool for economic development. A consti talk say for us Edo people, sport not be just for fun or entertainment but na our essence. Obaseki Konto say when he dey campaign for 2016, he promise Edo people say he go reposition sport for the state, and say deputy governor go by himself handle sport, and by God's grace they don dey get result and everybody go fit testify to am. And say because of the result wey dem don get, na make dem set up the sports commission, and say in dey expect say by the end of the year for December, all the association go present their report card to show how well dem don do.
For us as a government, this is quite an important epoch-making day and activity because we are reconnecting with our history as a people. We have a history as a sporting state and as a sporting people, and we believe that the event will now formally kickstart this reconnection. Sports, as you know, is a very, very serious endeavor globally, which serves as a strong tool for social integration, also as a tool for health promotion and economic development. For us in Edo State, sports, as I said, is an aspect of our life, which mirrors the essence of us as a people, our pride, our emotions, and credibility. It is just not only a means of recreation for us or entertainment. It is our essence. It defines who we are. So we cannot afford not to take the administration of sports as seriously as it should, or treat it with levity. Many of you will recall that when we were campaigning in 2016, one of our key campaign promises was that we were going to put Edo back in its pride of place as relates to sports. By the grace of God, we have tried to be promise keepers. I said then that the deputy governor was going to take personal charge to help us rebuild sports in Edo State. And by the grace of God, that has happened. So what did we do? As in every major reform, we took the bull by the horn. We had to take some very difficult decisions, starting with the governance of sports. We enacted a law to set up a sports commission, and we moved from what used to be where sports was just an adjunct of government. The law now makes sports separate and independent of the bureaucracy of government. We focused on rebuilding some of our key sporting infrastructure. We've rebuilt Samuel Ogbonge Stadium. We've built about 20 mini stadia across the state. And we're looking forward, working with our various associations, to designate areas in our cities, in our communities, where we can build sporting infrastructure across the state. Be they courts, playgrounds. Our goal is that in every political ward in Edo State, there must be a sporting infrastructure. We constituted the Sports Commission, and have been privileged to have the best of minds that this country has produced in sports, an Olympian to chair the commission with a team of very seasoned sports administrators.
Obaseki Constitute said the next thing to do now to take the reforms for sport one step forward. Say they need to work on the structure wey go help us manage sport from the grassroots. In Contact say,
today we're taking the reform one step further by now focusing on the structures that will help us manage sports from the grassroots. Sports, as you know, is a process. It's also a chain. If you do not start encouraging, nurturing, training, and preparing sportsmen and women very early in life, they don't happen by magic. You cannot just command, stars or star athletes. So the issue of grassroots sports development is a priority for us. But to commence proper grassroots sports development, we had to put all of these in place. The governance, the infrastructure, and the processes, which is what we are doing, concluding with setting up the associations. Therefore, these associations, 35 of them, or 37 of them, but we're inaugurating 31 today, will constitute the bedrock of sports development in Edo State. We have carefully gone round to select you. This process has been on for over 1 year. We have checked each and every one who we're nominating as a member. We've checked your backgrounds, checked your commitments, checked your achievements and your interests. And I must say that I am quite pleased because even before setting up these associations, some of our sons and daughters had already begun the process of tasking themselves and helping organize the sports of their interests. Mention was made of cricket. I know that every year on his own, my brother Pastor Sazua organizes table tennis tournaments on his own, even without state support, and several other sports. So the process has started. So what we're doing today is essentially to just formalize for some sports the process that is already on, and for others to encourage patrons to help us direct activities in those sporting areas. I have no doubt in my mind that given your integrity, the knowledge most of you have in this course, and more importantly, the interest, I have no doubt that with the selflessness we have seen and your purposeful service, when some of you were very active and some of you are still active in those sports, will help us facilitate the growth and development of sports in Edo State. I am aware that for now, each association membership has been pegged at 7. I know some associations will have a lot more interests by people who are members or people who are interested in that sport. You can increase the membership by another 3 to a maximum of 10. If you so desire, but just clear with the Sports Commission. I also want you to know that this is just not a one-off exercise. By Christmas this year, I'll be calling all of you again to give me your report card. And I'm sure, I know, many of you will be able to tell me how you have been able to raise money from the private sector, from companies and industries, into the sports. You will be able to tell me how many young boys and girls and how many school inter-house sports you've been able to glean through and identify talents, and you begin to prepare, you started to prepare for greatness in those, your particular sport of interest. You'll be able to tell me how many competitions, locally and globally, that your star athletes have participated in. And finally, bring the trophies that you have won so that I can take pictures. So I'm going to start saving. You know, we don't spend money anyhow. But we start saving for that sports, at the annual sports gala, in which we want to see the associations come with their laurels, with their medals and cups, and you do for me, and I will do for... That's how we say it in politics. So I want to assure you that government has been willing and is even more determined to provide a conducive atmosphere to stimulate corporate involvement in sports promotions and development. We are beginning to see the emergence of big business in Edo State, from technology companies to producing companies to manufacturing to mining companies. We're seeing them come into the state. We will encourage you to go approach many of them to see if you can get them to sponsor you and your sports. One key reason why we have taken an extra interest is that sports today is a key tourism driver. And one way we are trying to diversify the economy of Edo State is through tourism. Edo is very easy to get to. We are less than an hour from 80% of the people living in this country by flight and by road transport. So it is easy to host sporting events in Edo because Edo is easy to get to. So in defining our sports, we don't only want to be active sportsmen, we also want to attract sports people and sporting activities to our state. That is why we spent quite a lot of resources in refurbishing our Samuel Ogbonge Stadium. I would love to see international tournaments in sports like gymnastics, where we have some of the best equipment in the world. I would like to see the return of the Ogbe hard court. I have a center court I have not commissioned. I would love to commission it. We have tartan tracks that were used, the type that were used in the last Tokyo Olympics, in Edo here. There's really no reason why we should not host more track and field events here. Is it our soccer pitch? That is already paying for its returns. We're already getting the returns on our investment in our soccer pitch. Vendor insurance is where we want it to be. So the swimming pool, the best in this country, a waveless pool. So we have the infrastructure to host international sporting events in our state. And by the grace of God and with the work you people will be putting in, we'll have the top athletes, world-class sportsmen and women from Edo State. So we have the market and we have the infrastructure. So the world will come here for sports.
The Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu, contact say this not the first time for the state where governor by himself they inaugurate the sport association and say sport go they add to the GDP of the state, and as Nigeria don't they leave oil money now make them for the state they invest for sport as other country for the world they do and get good revenue from sport.
For the first time in the history of sports and in the history of Edo State, we're having a gathering like this where the governor by himself is inaugurating the Sports Association in Edo State. This is the first of its kind. And that speaks volume. That tells you that sport is real business. We take sport as real business in Edo State. Sport is no longer in just social category. Sport is now going to be adding to the GDP of Edo State. And you know our governor, he brought his over 32 years experience in private business, especially financing, into bear. And in everything that we do, both some of us that came from private sector and some of us that came from other sector, we now have business sense, we now have business thinking in everything that we do. And that is the only way to go, because Nigeria is living oil that have made us lazy to not thinking. We are now going to an economy that is digital. Our younger ones are no longer analog. So you can see why today we are resetting sport in Nigeria, not just Edo State.
The chairman of Edo State Sports Commission, Yusuf Ali, Kontok, say them they inaugurate 31 board today and they hope to increase the board with time and say this will be the biggest board for sports where any governor don't inaugurate for the country. A constitutor say government alone no go fit fund sport, say we need people with wisdom and idea to help with the sport.
We are inaugurating 31 board as of today. Eventually, the board will grow. For now, this is the biggest, it will be the biggest board being inaugurated by any governor in our country. But we are hoping and we are planning that the board will keep growing. Like I said earlier, government alone cannot fund sports. We need technocrats, we need people with wisdom, with idea to help with our sports. And with that, all of us will make history, which will forge ahead and be proud to have served our state and our country.
Permanent Secretary Edo State Sports Commission Sabina Chikere come appreciate the governor for his support so far for the sport and say she thank Edo people for their support too and assure the governor say by December 2023 when they come for their gala night, them go come with their report card and all of them go score well.
I want to appreciate everybody for finding out time and making out time to come here today to be inaugurated as members of the Edo State Sports Association. We want to appreciate His Excellency for giving us the mandate and for supporting us so far in sports. We wouldn't have achieved what we have achieved now if not for their support towards us. So we want to appreciate them. We equally want to appreciate the people of Edo State who trusted us too. And we want to appreciate all of you seated here. The governor has given us his charge. By December, we will come with our report card. And we hope that in December, when we come with the report card, we will come with a favorable report card. Mr. Governor, we want to assure you that by December 2023, we will score A in our report card. So, thank you, Chairman and members of the Board Association that has just been inaugurated.
Chairman Edo State Cricket Association Uya Akpatawe talk on behalf of the new board Kontok say without government they no go fit get result and say cricket alone don't reach out to 30,000 children last year and if all the board reach out to 20,000 for a year, that means they then go reach out to 600,000 for various sports for 1 year.
Members of the commission, fellow members of the boards who are humbled, distinguished, but certainly well-deserving to have been inaugurated today, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the chairpersons and members of the board of the sports associations of Edo State, we want to say thank you, Your Excellency. There are many of us here who have decided to come back and support our states. First, because of the passion we show for our respective sports, but more importantly, because we see that without the governance structure, without the framework, without the support of government, we cannot and would not have that latitude or bandwidth to operate. So you've provided all of those, not only in terms of fiscal infrastructure, but with the governance and operating framework. So it's left for us here to now go out and create the right platforms for sustainable partnerships. We've seen it happen in most of our associations till today. I am in my 6th year supporting cricket in Edo State, and last year we had the privilege of reaching out to 30,000 new kids across the states. I say that because if 30 of us, on the average, do 20,000, we'll be reaching out to 600,000 every year. 40% of the population of Edo State, which is roughly about 5 million now, if we look at that, then we're talking about 3 million, would have been 1 year reached about a quarter. So in the next 4 years, just imagine if every kid is involved or actively involved in one sporting activity or another. So it's serious business for us. And I'm sure each and every one of us here will want to do that. So we'll continue to leverage, appeal for that support, and a way of supporting us, not only in terms of those resources, but also together reaching the private sector on how we can create the right framework to get funding. In other places, things like sports lotteries have helped to support this in the past, and there are also commercial activities such as that being practiced where, as you've done with infrastructure and roads, when people support sports, then they can get tax credits. Those two are game-changing things that I'm sure, together individually and together when as associations, groups we meet on a regular basis, we will create that difference and meet the objectives that you expect of us. For now, Your Excellency, we are each proud of this particular opportunity to serve our state, and we look forward to December when we'll get some money off you when you'll be giving us rewards for the various things we've won. Thank you very much.
From Benin City, A. Carter Ojesole, TMC TV News.